This week brings in supportive energies to connect, reconnect, nurture, and enjoy spending time with ourselves and with others. We're ready to make meaningful changes in our lives, our relationships, and our value systems. So if it doesn't feel good or there is not a deep value-laden connection, it's got to go. Hey everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to this week's weekly energy forecast for the week of December 25 through the 31st. We are in the final week of 2023. I have no idea how we got here so quickly. It really feels like someone flipped the switch on a light and poof. For folks that are celebrating or that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and any other holidays that I've missed, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, anything else, I'm wishing everyone a beautiful holiday season. If you're interested in being entered in December's drawing for a free complimentary 60-minute personal reading with me, it'll be video, live, tarot, oracle. Drop your favorite weather emoji down below in the comment section and you will be entered. I'll announce winners, top 3 winners at the beginning of January through one of these weekly energy forecast videos and through a community post. Let's get going with the astrology, you all. Quick reminder, all times listed are Eastern Standard Time or New York City time for reference. This week is really asking us what we're ready to finalize and what we truly desire. There's a lot of focus and energy around connections and relationships. On December 25th, we have Venus in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces. And I wrote here, Happy Jolly Christmas. And it doesn't matter if you don't celebrate. It was just the energy. We start the week off with an uplifting day that really asks us, and we'll feel the energy of wanting to align with others, have fun, engage. It's like movie game night type of vibe. We're wanting to connect and really fulfill our pleasures. It's an excellent day to be of service for any of you that volunteer or that want to help or assist in the kitchen or cook, home or otherwise. Great time to connect to gratitude and the deeper meaning of life, of what you truly value. For those of you that want to execute this in a way that brings in some fun, game night, family fun night, conversing or socializing with friends, or a self-indulgent pampering night is another way to tap into these energies. This is the perfect day to go beyond the holiday consumerism. I got that right away and I wanted to add that. On December 26th, we have the full moon in Cancer happening at 4 degrees and 58 minutes at 7:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have Chiron stationing direct at 15 degrees in Aries. I'll be making a separate video, so stay tuned and keep on the lookout for this if you're interested. This moon will highlight what we truly care about, what we want to invest in, what helps us and makes us feel emotionally and physically safe, and also themes having to do around the home, our inner environment, our intuition, mother figure, our lineage and roots, how we want to be nurtured and taken care of, and also our body and spirituality. With Chiron stationing direct in Aries, this is the wounded healer. So there's been a lot of perhaps situation and simply revising or reflecting around relationships, issues, anything that has made you feel like you couldn't be yourself, you couldn't identify or feel safe being yourself, you've had difficulty maybe individuating or separating yourself from some identity, from some system, perhaps groups or energies, whatever it is. Now that Chiron is turning direct, we are going to see movement in this area of our lives. And I feel like this is progress materializing, because what it is that we've learned during this retrograde are perhaps patterns, belief systems that we've held on to. And since this coincides with this full moon in Cancer, this could have to do with, again, systems or structures, perhaps of oppression, but systems or structures that have been repeated over many years, over generations, or that have been really ingrained, that come from our family systems or from other structures that we've embodied, emulated, or simply adopted. So this is going to be a week where you may feel like, you know what? I'm finally seeing this situation in a different way. It's really taking positive steps towards healing areas in our lives, particularly with self, where we haven't felt whole, and in other containers. So who or what was a thorn in your life? Because I kept seeing thorn bushes and roses. If there's someone that's been repeatedly thorning you or pricking you or I'm saying this metaphorically, that has been creating some type of repeated dynamic, or you're seeing something pop up. This is going to be the time to finally say, okay, I've given some thought to this. This has been happening. What can I do about this? What is something that I've learned intuitively or in a practical way that I can do or apply to the situation so that I get something different out of it? For many folks, it could be boundaries, speaking your truth. There's a whole host of other things, and I don't want to provide too many prescriptions because I feel like many of them are going to be innate, psychic, and intuitive for everyone. But this is about making changes so that you no longer feel wounded or hurt or pain. You're not playing that story. You're not allowing that record player to keep dinging you in the same way that it has. So it's taking any pain, any wounds, any traumas, turning it into a form of medicine for yourself, a form of empowerment, creating your own elixir, if you will, and allowing yourself to boost, to shift, to transform, so that you can relate to other folks and even to yourself and delineate your own boundaries. Assert yourself with your communication, coupled with or perhaps surrounded by a compassionate discussion, and really go within and be followed or guided by your intrinsic motivation. On December 27th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces. We also have the Sun in Capricorn, trining Jupiter in Taurus, Mercury in Sag conjuncting Mars in Sagittarius, and we have Mercury in Sag conjuncting Neptune. Oh, excuse me, I'm repeating that. Brain fog, you guys. So Mercury conjunct Neptune, it induces some type of brain fog, clarity, confusion, perhaps muddledness up here in the intellectual landscape, in our mental landscape. It's like hitting the same spot over and over. The best way that I kept getting, the energies that I kept getting with this particular transit and these aspects, especially with the square, it's as if you are learning how to drive and you keep hitting the same spot. Maybe you are doing parallel parking, or you're parking somewhere and you keep hitting the curb over and over. There's something you're not seeing or understanding here. And it could be just the size of the vehicle. It could be your mindset of that day. It could simply be the angle in which you're turning. There's something here that keeps presenting some type of challenge. So there's a focal point of awareness that's coming up here. What keeps happening, or what challenges are arising and that are causing you to become frustrated, or that are causing some type of like deadlock or bumping over and over. Because if you continuously try to push it and you keep trying, you may not get the outcome that you want. So in the case of the car that I just told you, in the driving, maybe the tire will eventually inflate or something will happen from hitting the curb too much. So this is an opportunity to stop, pause, and reflect, because sometimes what we want to happen or what we want to change at that very instant, because with Mercury and Sag, we may want something to happen quickly. And sometimes we need to actually take a step back and wait. And it sometimes really sucks when you're feeling it, when you're emotional, but when you have that heightened sense of like, I want to resolve this. I want to get this going. I need to communicate or understand something, and you can't. Sometimes taking a step back and allowing that time to pass is going to be the most helpful than rather pushing it. I also kept getting a detour. For those of you that drive or that have been in public transport, when there's some type of bumper to bumper traffic or car accident, sometimes there's an alternative where you can get off and exit and take a detour. Sometimes you can't. You have to persist and continue through with patience. So that's the energy I'm feeling this way. What do you do about it? Because what you do in your response is really going to dictate the outcome here. And many times if we keep pushing out a challenge out a certain way, we're trying to communicate, express, or do something, we may hit like a doorstopper type of energy. So in those moments, sometimes it's better to walk away, hang up the keys of the car, leave the car, go away, put pause on that communication, and just revisit it. With the Sun trining Jupiter, this is you got this energy. Tap into your inner strength here, your inner drive, your energy that is going to allow you to really maneuver through some of these frustrations that come up, and also anything that you're not understanding or seeing, because I feel like it's going to allow you to look in a different way. It's almost like with the car example that I kept getting. Sometimes it takes getting out of the car and seeing how you're parking to realize, oh shit, the angle is off, or I am moving or turning the wheel way too early here or late here. With the sun in this position, it's really amplifying, well, wait a minute, I think you're able to see this, but in a different way. And with Jupiter, Jupiter is all about wanting to help us. Jupiter's like, okay, let me get you another way of seeing this and doing this. So we're looking at this from a different perspective. And I kept seeing like, we're going to find a way to do it, but it's going to be from a different approach, a different perspective. So there's nothing worse too than making decisions when we feel pressured to do so, or when we don't have all the puzzle pieces. So this transit and these aspects in particular, they provide that substance, that inner energy to look at anything blocking you in a different way so that you can understand them better. With Mercury conjuncting Mars, think before you speak, act. I kept getting those Nerf guns. For any of you, those toy guns that have those little cushion balls or little pellets, sometimes you can shoot them and they just shoot out one by one. I kept seeing that in rapid succession, and that's what I'm feeling here with this energy. So be careful early on during this week of how and what you communicate, especially if what you have in your mind, you have like a whole manifesto and you're like, I'm going to get it out. And you may be feeling fired up and it just comes out. Be careful, because sometimes what you say may not be what you want to say, or the way you say it may not be the way you intended to say it. The same thing, you may act before actually thinking things through. So this is a really good time to use this energy by pouring it into studying, learning, thinking about your goals, projects, anything with Mercury, but also using that Mars energy, that inertia, in a positive way. Caution again with any arguments, fights, pushing through things you're not understanding, trying to get someone to see your point of view. There's a frustrating amplification here, and I kept getting a match energy. There's a quick temperament that could happen. On December 28th, we have Mars in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces. We also have the moon entering Leo. There's a ferocity of energy here, especially with how we're feeling and the actions, the energies that we want to impart about trying to do something, trying to take some type of physical action towards something, or complete or accomplish something in one way, and we're not able to. And I feel like it's because we're not seeing something clearly. And I kept seeing a trail that had, everything looked good. There was nothing wrong with it, but the mud, the flooring was muddy and slippery and too moist. So if you were to run on that, you'd probably fall. So it's going all in with, I am so ready to do this run or this hike. I can't wait. You start, and then you realize your sneaker is sinking into the mud. And there's no way you're going to be able to run or accomplish what you want unless you kind of go slowly and meander. Ever been in that type of environment? And that's the energy that I'm feeling here. You may overthink something, start feeling something, or become a little bit prone to some type of suspicion or something you're not seeing clearly. And that can get the best of you. And that's something this transit highlights. So if you're feeling something that's coming up and you're not able to reconcile it, take a time out. Again, with many of these challenging aspects that are happening within these transit, the key is to respond differently. You'll always have challenges that come up, right? And when we give our power away to these situations, it just makes us feel more frustrated. That's my dog, who's a Sagittarius, no less, echoing all of this. So something here that could help is talking to someone neutral, or someone, especially if it's something you want to take action on in a work environment or even in your personal life. It's going to vary on the situation, but talking to someone that may see something differently that you don't, so that you're able to at least gain some type of movement in that way, but not full-on action. With the moon in Leo, we may feel an extra sense of bravado as well. And I just kept getting an amplification since the sun rules over Leo to express what we need to. So there's a lot of wanting to go through, but then we just automatically jerk or stop because we're like, shit, it's not what we expected. We can't go through in this way because something is off here in some way. So be careful of self-delusion, of seeing something when it's not really there, or even projecting or making assumptions during this time, or forging ahead when you don't have all of the information or puzzle pieces. On December 29th, we have Venus in Scorpio, sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. And later on, Venus will be ingressing into Sagittarius. So we've got Scorpio energy with Venus, and then we have Pluto in Capricorn. So there's a deep intensity here around Venusian themes, especially relationships, money, self-worth, finances in general, pleasures, beauty, etc. And I feel like there's a really intense desire to dive deep and get to know something well, like research it and become obsessed and become an expert in it, like master it, to connect, mingle, and merge with someone else, or simply to become more intimate in your connections, especially those that are closer. It doesn't always have to be romantic or sexual, but there is a sexual connotation here where you may want to go deeper with someone, or you have that yearning to gain emotional intimacy, because this is deep diving and getting to know someone's soul. It's like seeing someone. It's like kindred spirit energy, but deep diving. So here we're wanting to see under the layers, under the hood, if you will. And we want to also be seen. But I also felt with both the Scorpionic and Plutonian energies, there's something like of a secrecy or hiding here, like a hiding factor here. So be careful of anything that may move fast, may accelerate fast, especially with the intensity of Venus and Pluto together with these energies, because I feel like it'll amplify that. Venus moving into Sagittarius shortly after, it brings in a more buoyant, adventurous, free-spirited, joyful, optimistic energy, especially when it comes to the Venusian themes around money, love, relationships, and our values. I feel like sometimes the feelings we can have around some of these themes can be fleeting, especially if we're trying to enjoy and have fun and look at more of the grand picture or big picture of these areas of our life and not so much the details. So I get a little bit of an extravagance here. I kept getting the energy of dancing the night away with lots of people, but not one. So it's that energy of exploring what feels good to you, what works for you, what you value. There has to be some type of connection too. The values and the beliefs here are important with love. So some of you, why I feel like some people in Venus and Sag may often get mislabeled is people may see them as flirty and jumping from one to another in a non-committal sense. But I feel it's because maybe trying to connect to values, which is an underlying importance. There's an integrity aspect here with Sagittarius. I'm not saying other signs don't have it, but it's ruled and nurtured by what they believe in. So Venus and Sagittarius, this energy is like, well, we got to connect on a deep level too, but but also able to expand and grow together and have fun. So there's a higher octave energy connecting this, like a higher way of being or living to this. This is a great time for any of you, especially with Venus energies, if you're wanting to explore new ways to perhaps invest your money or relate to your money. This is another way to do it in a more fun way. You know, when some people think budget and it gets kind of dry, boring, mundane, this is a fun way to explore new things, like get a new tool, like a new system for tracking your funds, or a new way to invest. And I'm not a financial expert, so please use your intuition. This is disclaimer moment. Use your intuition and your own guidance and connect with professional financial folks. But this is a great way to explore those different things that'll allow you to kind of feel like you're growing in some way, like there's a greater development and connection, but there's also exudes more zest into this area of life. The same thing with dating, with romance, and with friendships. Have fun exploring together different things that are calling to you, whether it's trying new restaurants or connecting with different friends or making new friends or trying a new date, whatever it is. There's a sense of wanting to have adventure, but not feel tied down to one thing. So this is a great transit to explore, especially with the Venusian themes. On December 30th, we have Jupiter stationing direct. Every week we've had somebody stationing direct at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jupiter went direct on September 4th. Jupiter went retrograde on September 4th. It's going direct now, and it'll exit its post-retrograde shadow on March 23rd, 2024. So you are going to see significantly more movement, and a lot more in March, but a lot more movement. Things are shifting forward. The gears are going from reverse to neutral and forward to drive. So expect new insights, especially around your value systems, your beliefs, your way of being and living. Anchoring in any new ways of thinking or mindsets surrounding money, prosperity, abundance, growth, success, and cosmic blessings too, because there's a lot of unexpected, we can call them cosmic gifts, unexpected gifts coming in during this time. I also feel like what you value has shifted here. So there may be a certain level of upgrading that as well. Remember, Zeus represents Jupiter in Greek mythology. Jupiter is the Roman name. So he bestowed upon the gods on Mount Olympus their own seats, but he also helped them out when he could. He wasn't always an asshole. And with some folks he was. There's a lot of Greek myths where he wasn't always kind. He had that dual nature with him, hence Pisces and Sagittarius, who are ruled by Jupiter. And so I feel here, this is something, the energy that's also happening with you, depending on which area of your life Jupiter in Taurus is ruling over and is amplifying. I kept getting rejection as a redirection to something better. So if you're realizing something didn't work out in the way that you want, or you've had a change of heart, or something has shifted in what you value, I feel like it's helping you go or lead to something better for you. Generally with this transit, you may feel, well, especially with the transit going direct, you may feel just rejuvenated, re-jolted. I kept getting like the battery being plugged in, and you feel juiced up. You may feel more excited. I feel like you may have the energy, or you may feel that energy of something is coming to you, or something is about to enter your life that may change it in a very positive way. It's very much related to the Wheel of Fortune tarot card, and I kept seeing it. I also got the image of bread. When you put it into the oven, it's now ready to come out. What blessings will you receive? On December 31st, we have the moon entering Virgo. So we wrap up the week getting down and combing through the details. And I feel like this is kind of like a revisionary energy of we're looking back into the past and also into the past year and looking through everything. I wouldn't say with a magnifying glass, but looking to see what feels good, what is helping us in our day-to-day lives, but also what's helping us in our overall healing journey and our spiritual connection to that. Because I feel like with this, we're going to put anything that we've learned into action so long as that it feels good. There's been a lot of energy here about connecting to that feeling and that emotion. So overall, the week is, you know, about reconnecting to what and who matters most to you. There's a lot of revisionary energy, making sure that anything that's popping up, that you're able to identify, and from your own level of awareness, what needs to change, what has repeated, and what you need to respond to differently. It's like there's like puzzles. Coming up on the 1st, we have Mercury stationing direct and the shadow period ensuing until the 15th of January. And as a reminder, I wanted to say as planets go direct one by one, they're all slowly going stationary. It's an excellent time to take note of what is coming up for you, because the messages that you're receiving, they're providing insights that are connected to the much larger piece or part of the quilt. I keep mentioning quilt because our lives don't exist in separation from other energies that are happening. So different alignments, transits that are happening, it's not just that transit we can look at in isolation. We have to look at everything working together. It's like a moving pulley system, like a machine. It all works together. As these energies unfold, take note of what's coming up, what's being highlighted, anything you're seeing that's repeating, because it's going to give you bigger clues as to what's coming up. Okay, let's get some additional messages for the week. What else we need to know? Anything else we need to know about this week as we wrap up 2023 that'll help us? Cannot believe we're at the end of the year. We have Two of Swords, Sword energy, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. We have Knight of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Queen of Wands, Leo energy. It's about emotional fulfillment here. There's some decisions, choice points for some of you that you need to make about leaving behind anything. This could also mean creating or delineating some type of boundary. It's a strong demarcation here. For some, it could be a split. It could be split in a relationship. It could be energies too, and what you're putting your time and energy into. But I feel like moving forward this week, you're being guided here to really invest your time, your energy in things that you can connect to on a value system, on a value base, but also emotionally. Strong focus on intimacy. This has been a theme that I've seen for the last several months across so many just energies, channeled messages, the astrology, and also readings that I've done. Some of you, this is like a breaking point. No, let me rephrase that. It's not a breaking point where it's now or never kind of energy, but there's a question. It's not the right word. There's something coming up where it's asking you if this is truly what you desire. Because it's asking you to decide if this is what you truly want or if you're ready to leave that. And I feel strongly it has to do with your values. Many of you are being guided to level up here, to reach for more, to not be afraid to dream big, to put yourself out there, to be seen. I feel like some of you are going to I'm strongly getting the energies. This is for some of you. If any of you are in relationships, this is the time to put yourself on that pedestal and to pour into yourself, to really put all your time and energy into what it is that you want to become and to accomplish. Some of you, I feel, have been like stuck, maybe is the right word, but stuck or held back in some way connecting to the past. So this is something, pay attention again to what illuminates to you. I also pulled two other oracle to explore. Anything else we need to know for this week, please? Interesting, there's something coming about too, because what I'm watching right now on my TV, there's two wolves. Some of you need to use your instincts here on what it is you need to leave, disconnect from, or simply revamp in your life. We got 3 cards. First card we got was 26, which reduces to an 8. Listen to feedback. Nothing can make you feel small unless you allow it. What you take from feedback and how you respond is entirely within your control. I said something about responding to things differently, and that's been a theme that's been coming up. Here's a message. If you're finding something is repeating over and over in your life with a person, place, or thing, something needs to shift there. That's where a lot of these retrogrades going direct are going to give you that clarity, because they're going to give you messages, you're going to get downloads. So again, be open. We have 40, which reduces to a 4, heal. Wounds need to be acknowledged before they can heal, especially those unseen. Give yourself the time, space, whatever is necessary to regain your wholeness. This reminds me of some of the messages in the winter solstice video I put out. I'll link it here. And that video is timeless. I just denoted some of the dates for 2023 since I created it for this year, but everything else, it's valid any winter solstice. Many folks are healing. You're wrapping up cycles. There's a lot of things happening simultaneously. I feel like every year it's like harder grad school. 37, which reduces to a 10, we have mourn. Grieving can be overwhelming but necessary. We are cleansed by letting our feelings wash through us. Only then can we move past the pain. A lot of energies of endings as we wrap up 2023. A lot of letting go, especially with ways of being, ways of life. We're going to pull a final oracle, self-care oracle. Some of you are healing things having to do with your foundation, emotional foundation and stability and family home life. It could be ancestral or it could be the family that you're in now, however you define it, whoever's involved. The self-care card you got was meditate. 8, it reduces to an 8, 35. This is about connecting to yourself, to your inner light. This is why I'll say it here. Perhaps this requires a separate video, but this is why I've been moving away from making videos for certain astrological signs or even zodiac signs, because the best way to really harness and cultivate your intuition, to grow it, is to start listening to yourself. This is why some of these general, hearing the transits, energies, messages that come through, they allow you to connect to yourself. That's why I ask a lot of questions, because you're going to get something different from someone else. And sometimes people put so much focus and attention on the results of different individual sign readings, whether it's tarot or astrology or whatever form of divination. A lot of this, you can feel these energies way before they actually happen. That's why I present this in the way that I do. So if there's anything you want to add about this, I'd love to hear it. Anything that has helped you in this journey. Otherwise, I simply want to say thank you so much for being with me along this journey in 2023. Looking forward to 2024. I'm wishing you a final week in 2023. I said this wrong. Full of blessings, amazing things. I hope your year ends well. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.